Welcome back to Average Dirt Bike Dads. Today we're going to get into something that every dirt bike dad needs to know. How to take care of your dirt bike without turning it into a full-time job. Whether you're just picking up first bike or helping your kid wrench on theirs, this is your dad's guide to first dirt bike maintenance. Let's keep it simple and ready to ride. Okay, let's jump right in. Step 1, tear down your motor. Step 2, put it back together. Ding! Just kidding. First off, you don't need a full mechanic shop to get started. Some basic hand tools. In fact, a lot of the dirt bikes come with all the tools you really need. Obviously, you can make your life easier by having a little bit better tools. An example of that would be instead of using an Allen key, you could use a ratchet wrench with an Allen key socket. Here are some of the tools that I keep handy and I tend to use while doing basic maintenance on my dirt bikes. I would strongly suggest looking for the user manual for your dirt bike and downloading it. I keep mine handy every time I'm working on something just to double check and make sure I've got all the torque specifications right and other important details. This is a good place to put in a sidebar about torque specifications. Now, some of you may think the 1 to 2 grunt method works well. These days, if you over torque something, you'll probably strip it out and that could be really bad. Another tool that I like to have handy is YouTube. Obviously, there are a lot of people out there like Chuck Harder who are amazing at explaining the granular details of how to repair your dirt bike. However, in this video, we're keeping it very simple, just basic maintenance. Okay, so before every ride, I like to look over the bike just a little bit. Now, some people might have some sort of acronym to remember what to check, like T-clocks. I don't know. I just kind of look over the dirt bike and make sure that it's okay. So that T-clocks actually stands for tires and wheels. Make sure you check the pressure and look for cracks. Controls, make sure the levers and throttle move smooth. We had a sticky throttle situation once because we were putting on some hand guards that were a little bit too tight and that smashed into the side of the throttle. And so it was almost like having cruise control, but it's not very fun when you're trying to slow down and you can't get the throttle to turn off. Okay, next would be lights and electronics. Just make sure everything looks good and works okay. If you happen to be riding with the average guy, make sure the headlight works because you're likely gonna end up coming back after dark. Next would be oil and fluids. Definitely double check to make sure you have enough oil in your bike. At the beginning, when I made that joke about tearing down the motor and putting it back together, as with pretty much all the content on this channel, those were my pictures. I actually had to do that on a YFZ 450R four-wheeler because the oil was low and I was going up a very steep hill and sucked it dry and pretty much destroyed the engine. Next would be the chain. Make sure it's clean, lubricate it maybe, check the tension, make sure it's not too loose or not too tight. This is probably a good time to talk to your kids about why we take care of stuff. If you take care of your stuff, it will take care of you, right? It won't leave you stranded out in the middle of nowhere, and it sure beats having a broken bike 10 to 100 miles away from civilization or your truck. Next up is oil changes and air filters. And I'm gonna throw in nuts and bolts, stay tight. So the oil change, you wanna make sure that you do it right. We've got another video if you'd like to watch that. I'm sure there's a zillion other videos out there that you can watch. Air filter, just check it to make sure. It's such a simple and cheap insurance to keep your motor running right. And if you let it go too long, it could suck dirt into the engine. That is no bueno. So I would definitely check it, make sure that it's clean. If it's not, go ahead and clean it or replace it. And nuts and bolts, the reason I put that in here is because when you're out there riding for several hundred miles, things do vibrate. Bolts will back out, you will lose them. I actually keep an extra set of bolts, this little bolt kit. I keep that on me pretty much at all times just to make sure that I have some replacement bolts because things do vibrate out. Okay, this is the Dirt Bike Dad's Tip bonus round. The reason we put this in here is because if you're like us, we've got a zillion other things to keep track of. And so if you don't write it down, you'll forget. Did I change the oil? Did I change the filter? Did I do this? Did I do that? And later on, you don't want to be questioning it. All right, so we've got an example here of Wheelie Guy, his very own spreadsheet where he keeps track of stuff. Now look at this. Oh my word. This is a little bit over the top. However, you can see he's got every hour accounted for. It's probably important here. I know people hate cleaning their bikes, but I think it's pretty important, especially if you spend time like out on the salt flats or anything like that. Keep your bike clean. That will, I mean, you think about getting a little bit of dirt down into a bearing or something like that. It's just more likely to happen if you don't keep your bike clean. So some of the good times that we've had have been cleaning up our dirt bikes. Yeah, maybe there's a water fight or two. Most of the time it is a little bit of a slog just trying to get through the grime and make sure that the bikes are clean and ready to go for the next time. One MLG Strat here, put a light misting of Armor All on the bike and it makes it look brand new, especially if you're gonna sell it in a few minutes. Last thing would be just don't ignore weird sounds. So when you're riding your bike, if you ride it long enough, you know when there's a new sound, a new click or a new squeal or whatever else. I think, ooh, this doesn't sound exactly right. And it could be something as small as there's just a stick in some part of the bike and it's just clicking like you used to do with the playing cards and your spokes on your bike. However, I have had a time or two where I've heard a noise and it ended up being a much bigger deal that I had to take it to a qualified mechanic to fix. Okay, so just to recap here, keeping your bike in good shape doesn't have to be complicated. It just needs to be consistent. Just every time you're gonna use it and every time you're gonna put it away, just take care of it and it'll take care of you. It'll keep you and your kids out on the trail having fun.